Before we do today's project, I just want to throw a reminder out that today is the last day to sign up for my Forever Fern Simple Stamping class. In this class, it's all about the stamps, the ink, and the paper. No dies, no punching, just stamping and a little bit of embellishing with ribbon, and you get the whole Forever Greenery ribbon combo pack with the class. Here are cards you'll be making for that class. And that's all for $36, including the postage and your full PDF tutorial with color photos, supply list instructions, everything, so you have for future use. So today is the last day to order your Forever Fern Simple Stamping class to go. Okay, now tomorrow I also have a deadline, and this deadline is for the Gnome for the Holidays class to go. And there's another set of cards, so you're going to make 8 different cards. You'll get a full pack of the note cards and envelopes, so you actually have note cards and envelopes to make 20 of these cards, but 8 I have designed for you. And then you also get to make this cute Gnome for the Holidays collage. Oh, I pulled this glass off so you could see it better. And what else is included in that? I'm trying to think. All the designer series papers, the note cards, you'll be getting an adhesive sheet. The letters will be cut for you. You'll be getting dimensionals. So that, I believe, is $48. Yes, $48. And tomorrow is the last day to sign up for the Gnome for the Holidays class to go. So that's going to be a real cute one. I think you'll enjoy that a lot. And I look forward to making up those kits for everyone. Now, last week, and Friday was kind of nuts because I was waiting on that delivery from IKEA. You have to be here, you have to sign for it, check boxes, that sort of thing. He called me just after 11 and said, I'm here. So I went out and he said, do you want it by your garage or the front porch? I said, front porch, please. So I walked outside, nobody was there. So I called the number that just called me, nobody called back. Waited a couple minutes and somebody called me. And I said who I was. I said, you just called and said you're at my house, but I'm on my front porch and nobody's here. Here he was delivering to the model home down on the corner, which is now empty. It's been sold and they're converting the garage over for the new owners. So it kind of looks abandoned, really, because they started finishing the inside of the garage, and thank goodness I caught him. And he wasn't in a delivery truck either. So I would not, had I been out in the yard, I would not even notice that he was delivering IKEA furniture. So that was a little crazy, but I did it, got it. I put one of the beds together for the guest room. I bought 2 twin beds, and then Emily helped me on Saturday with the second one, and I've got the new linens on there, so ready for my crafting guests. So I hope to see some of you as visitors to my home. And what else happened? Oh, it was basically anything. It was working other than crafting this weekend. Yesterday, Emily and I cleaned out the garage. We rearranged. I put some big nails in the 2x4s along the garage and hung things up. She got a, I don't even know what you call it, some kind of thing where I hang up my brooms and stuff in the garage. So that was good, but I was sore, so I have to get back to crafting so I can have a break and give my back a break. So I'm sorry I didn't meet with you on Friday morning with all that going on. But Wednesday evening, I showed the Winter Snow Embossing Folder, and I showed you different cards I made embossing different paper products. So first was embossing on cardstock. And if you remember, we also did one where we used the reverse side. So here the snowflakes are popped up. The other one, they were flat. Oops, I should do this one next. This was embossing designer series paper from the Snowflake Splendor DSP collection. So it was already a very pretty paper, but I just added some texture to it by running it through the Winter Snow Embossing Folder. Then I embossed snowflakes on the silver foil paper, and then I added this pretty mesh ribbon, which actually comes with the as part of the Magic in This Night Halloween suite, but I like it for Christmas too, and many other occasions. And then I added rhinestones on the center of the snowflakes. And then lastly, I showed embossing with vellum, which I think is just so pretty and so elegant. And I went over the snowflakes with some Wink of Stella. So if you missed that, definitely go back and check. It is up on my blog, stampinpiece.com. So today I'm going to show you another card I made also using the same embossing folder. And this is the card. Okay, so what I'm going to show you today is how to add ink to your embossing folder so that you get the blue in the background, or whatever color you want to use, excuse me, and the white snowflakes popping up and remaining white. Okay, so let me show you how I did that. I'm going to set this up here for now. And I've got my pieces and parts here. And I'll change this one up a little bit because, you know, that's what I do. And I will be pulling a stamp from the set Snowflake Wishes. We'll be using this one, May Your Seasons Sparkle. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I need some scrap paper here. Now I want the white, the raised white snowflakes to remain white. And I want the background to be my blue. In this case, I'm using Seaside spray. So I'm just going to basically feel each side of my, let's turn it this way, each side of my embossing folder. And here it's more smooth because the snowflakes are indented. Here the snowflakes are raised, and that's what I want to remain white, is those raised snowflakes. So I want the blue ink to be on this side, which is more flat. Good morning, Sue and Deb and Vicky, Debbie Parker, Marion. Oh, lots of you have jumped on. Julie, Debbie Moser. Oh, I'm so glad to have so many of you here. And thank you to those that shared either before this started or just when I got on. And basically all I'm doing is just tapping down with my ink pad. In some areas, like I keep missing one there. One little spot, so I'm going to try to go back over that. Now what I'm trying not to do is, number one, I don't want any ink on this side on those snowflakes, okay? And then on this side, when I'm tapping the ink down, do just that, tap. Don't push, because if you are pushing and are putting too much ink on, you're going to actually be getting the ink in all those little snowflake crevices. And if you get a little bit, no big deal, but we want most of that white showing through, okay? Hi, Susan. I love it when so many of you join me, especially on a Monday morning. And then I just lay my paper on there. I'm gonna close it up. And when I pick it up, I want to be sure that I'm holding that in place without moving it. I'm going to now bring in my new wonderful Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I love this baby. And I have to tell you, last night I had it upstairs on Saturday and Sunday. Emily's home the weekend and we weren't going anywhere, so I just wanted to take some things up and we could watch while we were doing movies or whatever. And after we finished putting together that one twin bed on Saturday, Emily saw this out there and she said, and it was folded up, and she said, "Oh, is this your new die cutting machine?" And I said, "Well, yes, it is." And she pulled the sides down and she said, "That's kind of cool." She said, "It's still pretty heavy, but," she said, "that's really cool that the sides fold down." And she kept looking at it and she's like, "This is really innovative. Very nice, Mom." And I just had to laugh because, you know, she's busy with grad school. She's not taking an interest in doing stamping with me, but she noticed that machine. I hadn't said anything about it. She noticed it was new and different. And it was just kind of fun for me to get that reaction from her. Okay, so here is the finished product. Okay, now this one, the ink looks a little more smooth, and I don't quite know why. You kind of get a different look each time. This ink pad that I used today is very juicy. It's the Seaside spray. You could do this with any color you want, pool party. You could even put red behind it. You do whatever you want. Now, I'm not going to do this right now because I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but before you would do a second one, you do want to clean both sides very well. And that is because if you transfer any ink, and then you don't get your paper back, the second piece right in the very same spot, some of that will transfer over. So it looks like I moved it a little bit when I, like right in here, but most of it looks good. Okay, so that's all, and you just give it a few seconds to dry. It actually dries very quickly, and you can see all of the snowflakes still white and still sticking out. Now, if you want to add a little more to your snowflakes, you can go in with your wink of Stella, and it just goes on really, really quickly. You can do a few or you can do all of them. I like to do them all if I'm doing any for this particular card, but I won't do them all now because I don't want to waste all your time. Okay, so then let's put together a card. And again, this is my sample right here. And this one too, I think I actually dragged the ink pad a little bit more, whereas here I was tapping. Either way you do it, you just want to be sure. And it does give a different look. I don't know which I like better, to tell you the truth. This kind of reminds me of Delft China. But it doesn't really matter how you put the ink on. You can also use brayers. But the same thing with brayers, you're probably going to need to go back over it several times on the embossing folder, but do not press hard. If you press too hard, all this ink that you're applying to what you want the flat side to be will be going in the indentations and making all of your snowflakes really turn out blue when you want them to stay white. Deb's question is, what do you clean your folders with? Just cold water. I just wipe them, run them under the sink, or wipe them with a damp cloth, just plain water. Okay, and then you want to dry it really well before you go on to the next piece of paper you're going to emboss. Okay, I think I'm going to do this. This is the back side of the embossed cardstock. When it's embossed, this flat side, I think it's just as pretty as when you've got the snowflakes sticking up. I'm going to make this card a vertical card instead of the horizontal one. I'm not going to adhere that just yet, but I am going to stamp my sentiment, and I'm using the Stampin' Pierce mat because this is a photopolymer stamp. Ooh, pretty. All right. And then I want to cut this out with an oval from the Stitched Shapes Dies collection. That's a mouthful. So I know that when I'm using my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, my layers for embossing, I followed these directions, a number 1 and then the 2 number 3 plates, because I used a standard embossing folder. But now I want to do some die cutting. So I'm going to use 1, 2, and 2 number 3s. So here's my 1, here's my number 2, whoops, and I have 2 number 3s, those clear plates. I love it that these are numbered. I love that I can just follow the directions right on the plate. It does come with paper directions, but honestly, I just look at what the directions are right on the platform. It says the same thing, and it's more convenient and one less thing to be holding on to and moving around. And of course, I'm sure you all know that if you start cranking your machine and it doesn't want to go through, stop. Your sandwich is wrong. Okay, you have the platforms wrong. So then just go back to that main platform and look again at the directions and check those numbers and be sure you have everything layered correctly. So nice and easy. Okay. I think I'm going to cut this with the little, oops, with the little banner ends. And actually, I was going to do the Lovely Label Pick-a-Punch. I really like these. I was going for that, but then I remembered we have this brand new one. So let's give this a try. I think I'm going to go with this one. Kind of has that arrow end, and it cuts 1/2, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch widths of paper. Super easy to use too. I wondered, you know, when you get these big punches, are they hard to punch? Whoops. Don't have it in all the way. What's going on? Sometimes I tend to curl up those ends by the way I'm holding it when I do the first one. But that's super quick and easy. And I can say that with all the, you know, screwing and hammering and everything I was doing this weekend, my hand and arm is really sore. So the fact that I can do that so easily thrills me because I don't need anything getting in the way of my paper crafting. And I think I'll add this on some dimensionals. I'm just curious with the people on here watching, obviously I know you are into card making. I'm curious how many of you are into scrapbooking. And if you would be interested in seeing more scrapbooking projects and having some scrapbooking to go classes. I think that's really pretty. Of course, I think it needs a little bling and I've got some rhinestones, and I've also got this beautiful, oh, this is pretty too. What's a lady to do? You know what I'm gonna do? Oh, no, I'm not, because it's gonna tear that. I was thinking I should have put a strip of this on top of the silver banner, but I'm not going to now because I don't want to rip that. But that would have been a good choice. I didn't thought of that too late. We can even add some embellishments to these. I have some cards from last week that I need to get in the mail for my winners. They're upstairs. I'm packaging other things today to take to the post office, so they'll be going out soon. Would anybody like to receive one of these cards today? If you do, be sure to comment. Actually, I think I'm going to put this one over here. I think I like the, well, I don't know. I think I like the bow in both places. What do you think? And I like to use, I see some yeses there. People are always up for getting a free card, right? Put that there. And I'm going to make one more little one here. The ribbon across the silver would have worked nicely on that one too. Kind of bummed I didn't think of that sooner. I have some great projects in the works. More holiday classes, more samples for Facebook and blogs, and I've got so many I'd love to show you, but I need to space it out. Let you be surprised some too. Does anybody have kids starting school? A lot of schools in Ohio are starting sometime this week. So it's an exciting time, but it's also going to be quite different too with coronavirus and all that. I'm going to put this up here also, so it kind of frames that. And then I want to add some pretty rhinestones to the mix here. You may have children or grandchildren starting school, or perhaps you're a teacher or no teachers. My oldest daughter is a teacher. She started back last week, but their kids aren't starting. They're kind of doing like a transition thing where some of the kids go on part-time during the last, are those the same size? Yes, I guess they are. During the last week of August, and then, I don't know what I'm doing here. And then all of the kids will start after Labor Day, but there's all kinds of changes over there. They're splitting up. There's usually 2 homerooms per class. Now they're switching to 3 homerooms, and so they're trying to schedule all that. It's going to be very different, but you know what? Teachers and children are resilient, and teachers are used to going with the flow and doing what they have to do to teach those students that they care about so much. So, but let's all just keep an extra good thought for them and say our prayers for all those school kids and teachers and staff just doing the best they can do. Debbie Moser asked, what is my tool? This is the Take Your Pick tool. It is $10. It also has this nice spatula end, which I use quite a bit as well as the pointy tip. It also comes with another piece. I don't have it handy right now, but it has a stylus on each end. And then this is my putty end. And there are, when you use this up, you just turn it a little bit so a tiny bit of the putty comes out, and use that to pick up your embellishment and then place it exactly where you want it. And then as you turn this and it all gets used up, you can buy replacement putty refills, but they do last a really long time. I'm surprised how long they last. Happily surprised. But it's a wonderful tool. I mean, I think now, how did I live without that tool? So you might want to add that to your next order. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you will give this ink and embossing folder a try. You can, of course, use many, if not all, embossing folders to do this technique. And you can try it both ways, where you're dragging the ink pad across. You can tap the ink on. It gives you more of a, almost like a splatter look to it, or cracked glass look to it when you do it that way. You can even apply very light coats of ink using a sponge brayer. So there you have it, some quick and easy cards with a fun technique that will leave people asking, how did you do that? A good intro into getting them involved in stamping and card making too, don't you think? Okay, you all have a great day. I will be live again on Wednesday evening on my business page, Stamp and Scrap with Mary Knabe. That should be at 7 on Wednesday evening, 7 Eastern Standard Time. And this is Emily's last week with her clinical, so she hasn't decided yet. Most of her classes are online at UC, so she hasn't decided if she's going back to her apartment or she's staying here or what she's doing. But I sure have enjoyed having her around these last 8 weeks, and just spending more time with her and watching Big Brother and whatever else we do. I hope you enjoy your week, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.